Hello and welcome to the Boys in the Bus podcast. This is your bus home from Tynecastle Park, where Hearts and Celtic fought out a 2-2 draw. I'm your host, Terry, joined by the gaffer, Phil McGinley. How are you, Phil?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad, all things considered. What we just saw there, I'm obviously not delighted because obviously we wanted to win, but I'm not raging neither. Strangely, in the build-up to this game, all the talk was Hearts looking to extend to 9 points, Celtic looking to cut the deficit to 3 points. It felt like nobody, fans and media alike, draw up the scenario, well, what if it's a draw? And yeah, just feeling very neutral after that, just a bit frustrated that is what it is. And yeah, we'll also get into talking about it and the events of the game, but I think the way the game panned out, yes, a draw is the best we can get from that one, and we'll just need to regroup. But having just listened to Martin O'Neill there, he seems pretty fired up, and I agree with a lot of the things he just said. But say we'll dissect all that over the next hour or so.
Yeah, if you're new to the channel and you're after really good post-match analysis with lots of attention to detail, you're in the wrong place. But if you're happy enough to listen to an idiot like me, this is the place to be. Give us a like, give us a share, hit that notification bell, all that jazz. Phil, I have to admit, I'm flat. I'm feeling really, really flat. I'm disappointed on two fronts. I'm disappointed with the way we played, but I also feel we've been stitched up. I genuinely feel we've been stitched up with that decision today. But I think we need to look close to home as well. That we must have the most brain dead group of players that ever existed. You're playing against a team who have scored 1,000 goals from set pieces, and you just constantly keep giving them set piece after set piece after set piece. I think Stephen McLean played into it as well. There were a hell of a lot of soft ones. There were guys falling over for very little contact, no contact, and there were free kicks. Everyone knew how Hearts were going to be dangerous today. It's no coincidence that 2 goals come from set pieces. But we've got to be smarter. We've got to be more streetwise. We've got to be better prepared for corner kicks and free kicks. Both of the goals come from, one of them directly from a header at the back post where there's 2 Celtic men jumping against 1 Hearts man. And the equalising goal, again, it's the assist comes from a header at the back post with 2 Celtic men jumping against 1 Hearts man. It just simply is not good enough. Let's go through it all. It's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where, do you know what I mean? I feel close to how I felt that day. That day where Rangers beat us at Celtic Park, and I just wanted to get off and go to bed. And I genuinely, that's how I feel now. I'm not feeling any positivity out of this at all, other than the point, I suppose, I felt if we lost today, it was game over.
Yeah. Got to look at it from that point of view, I suppose.
I'm kind of still feeling closer to game over because I think that was a chance. That was the chance to cut this gap. And we've led twice. And whilst as much as I thought we were very, very poor, I thought we've blown a real chance to get the 3 points there. And I think if we'd kept 11 on the pitch, we would have got the job done. We'd have got over the line. I think we would have. But we didn't. It's 2-2. We remain 6 points behind Hearts. Rangers are now within 4 points of Hearts. Still lots of points to play for, 15 games. I think Hearts have got a tough run of fixtures. I just feel that that's an opportunity missed. And you're going to have to pick me up off the floor here, mate.
That's fine. I'm up to the challenge, mate. I mean, I'm not, as I say, I'm not brimming with positivity after it, but I'm just very, neutral. But I look at the bigger picture and say, right, it could have been a lot worse. And somebody, I mean, I'd say we're going to go through all the incidents, but Kasper Schmeichel in particular, we need to give him his credit when it's due, because again, it could have been a lot worse if he had pulled out some of those saves today. And 6 points, a lot of points still to play for. We need to play Rangers twice. Hearts need to play Rangers twice. We all need to play Hibs and Motherwell twice. You've got wee teams like Dundee United, Falkirk on their own patch can always cause an upset. There is a lot of twists and turns still to go. And 6 points, Martin O'Neill at the end there, when he was asked, how he's feeling about it, he just, again, was very defiantly just saying, we're still in this. And he's right. I agree with you about the 9 points thing. If we'd gone to 9 points, it would have been a real hard mountain to overcome. So right now, it's all just very neutral, status quo. And it's a scenario that it felt like nobody even contemplated in the run up to the game. But here we are. Just keeping the 6 point gap. And yeah, we've got a run of fixtures now. Falkirk and we've got Aberdeen back-to-back home games coming up. So yeah, we need just make sure that we do the business before the end of the transfer window, which is another story in itself. And then yeah, we just need to get our heads down and get on with it.
Okay, Phil. Let's have a look at the lineup. I don't know about you today, but today was the one day where I wished it was an early kickoff. I've been up early. I went for a walk. I was just doing anything to try and kill time. The wife was nearly going to ring the doctor on call because I was offering to do housework and everything. I just couldn't get the time in until 3 o'clock, and I was kind of just wondering, what if this was 12 o'clock? At least the game would be here.
It does seem a bit weird that it was a 3 o'clock kickoff, because especially with like Sky covering Man U and Arsenal's on just now, so it's like all these games running simultaneously. You think they would have got the Scottish game out the way first, because we know how Sky feel about Scottish football. So yeah, it was weird that it was 3 o'clock. I was the same as you. It was a bit like, what would I do to keep myself occupied till 3 o'clock?
And then you're thinking, it's any kind of blessing, 3 hours, 2.5 hours more for the players, getting a bit of rest into the legs after Thursday night. And again, I mean, if you think about how much we've put into both of those games, and we've scored 4 goals, we've been in front in both games for long periods, and we've not won any of them. That, what I mean? It's a hell of a lot put into those 2 games for very little output. Schmeichel and goals. Araujo came back in again. I thought that was going to be the case. As well as Donovan played the other night, I thought Araujo would come back in. The rest of the back 3 picked itself. Kind of. I worry what our next back 4 is going to look like. The rest of the back 4, the 3 players. God knows what it's going to look like next week. McGregor, Engels. I suppose the question mark tends to be in the midfield. Is it Negrin? Is it Hatate? Is it Luke McKeon? And then the big question up front was whether Svan Chara came in and made his debut. I didn't think we'd start with him. I just thought my reasoning behind that was he hasn't kicked a ball since November. He's only had 1 training session with his teammates. I thought he would be an off the bench option. I don't necessarily think it was the wrong decision. I just didn't expect him to start, but he did. We got a first look at him. Again, I'll ask you, in terms of the lineup, anything in there that surprised you much?
No, nothing at all. It was pretty much how I would have went. I did have my questions over Fanchara starting, but I was all in favour of him starting. But again, you'll try to apply a logical head to it. Is the manager going to throw him in there? He did. And first half, we were pretty much, a bit neutral for most of the game in terms of chances and whatnot. But obviously, he was heavily involved in the second goal. But in the first half, he was pretty quiet. He was living off scraps up there, but he did okay. And I expected we would get an hour out of him. I think about the span on the works was there was talk in the build up to the game, although Martin never confirmed this was going to happen, but he did mention about Iheanacho being back in training, and I think a lot of fans had put it in their head that Iheanacho will be back on the bench to get an hour out of Fanchara, and then Iheanacho comes on, but obviously he didn't feature. But other than that, with the rest of the team, it was pretty much as I expected, but just with the way the game panned out with injuries and red cards, it was shifting all over the place, which is kind of been the story of our season with injuries and suspensions and whatnot, and having to fill square pegs with round holes with square pegs and all that stuff. It's all that again, and that's what we were at the end of the game. We were being held together again by a Pritt stick, pretty much. And limped over the line in the end.
So, Phil, we got the dream start, really. A goal from Benjamin Negrin, goal from a free kick, believe it or not. We talked a couple of weeks ago, myself and Liam, around Celtic's lack of goal from corners, and then we got a couple from corners. And I mentioned in one of the pods as well that we hadn't scored a direct free kick in 5 years. And the commentator kind of teed this one up perfectly, because he made the same reference that the last player to score in the league was David Turnbull. I think it was very, very close to being 5 years ago. And even the Jota one in Madrid was probably close to 5 years as well.
2022 for the Jota one, 2021 for the David Turnbull one. Yep.
Yeah. But we get the breakthrough, and I thought it was really, really important to get that, because we were going to tire. We were always going to tire today. But I thought as the game went on, if you're tiring and you've got an advantage, it gets an extra 5-10% into the legs, because you've got something to defend. I thought it was a good finish from Reegan. If it was scored against us, I'd probably be asking a question of the goalkeeper. And again, we don't really touch on the other team's lineup, but when I seen Hearts lineup, I was quite surprised that Craig Gordon came back in again. Now, Craig Gordon, he's fine, and he made a wonder save to give Hearts the points away to Dundee. But for all intents and purposes, the goalkeeper that's been first choice for most of the season, I think seems to be a clear first choice. So I was surprised that Gordon came in and started the game. And when that goal went in, again, I was thinking, Craig Gordon of 5-10 years ago, that probably doesn't go into the net. But what was your thoughts on the goal? I mean, it was a good goal, a really good goal. I'm not taking anything away from Reegan, but I'd be asking a question of the keeper.
I suppose, but at the end of the day, it's not really concerned. It was a good free kick. He had to get up over the wall. How many times in the last 4 years, because as you say, that's how long it's been, have we seen these free kicks outside the area? They line up, they have their wee discussion over the ball. You know, they do the whole thing covering their mouth to make sure that the opposition can't figure out what they're going to do. Then it just hits the wall or balloons it out into the stand. So it was a welcome change to get it right on the postage stamp. Pretty much, it was a good free kick. So a nice surprise as well. The streak is finally over. It was long overdue, and yeah, what a start. And you're just hoping that with the way that, you know, the game has started pretty scrappy. The first couple of minutes, I think Chris Sutton picked up on this on the commentary, how both teams were just playing head tennis. It was just high balls bouncing around all over the place. But to get an early foothold in it, you're hoping that, right, we got them rattled here. If we settle down, and again, if you can get a second goal, if we can push on and find a second one, go 2-0 up early in the first half, then, you know, their heads could go. But we just seemed to just default back to, you know, sitting back and try to play the safe passes, playing it sideways, and just being victim of high presses, which we've shown just a couple of weeks ago at Falkirk, for example. You know, we're defending a 1-goal lead. A team, when they start aggressively high pressing us, the panic buttons get pressed at Celtic, and we pretty much were inviting pressure onto it after the goal. So there was a disappointment from that factor of great goal to take the lead, but it just felt like we just sat back and just invited pressure after that.
Yeah, I feel the same, Phil. Whenever on Thursday night, I said to my dad, you know, if you just walked in there and you didn't know who Celtic were playing, it would look like Celtic and Hearts because of the kit colour in Bologna. And I thought we'd really kick on after that goal, but we almost reverted back. It almost felt like we thought we were still playing in Bologna against 10 men, because we just retreated backwards. And for me, it wasn't even direct football. We were just banging the ball up the pitch and constantly giving possession away, just clearing it aimlessly. There was never any
silly free kicks that we kept giving away. Yep.
There was no danger of us getting a second, because we didn't create a chance, another chance. There was nothing of any note from a Celtic perspective up to half time. There were no periods of good play. We couldn't string 3 passes together. It was awful. Hearts had a chance. Braga had a chance soon after we scored. Schmeichel made first of several key saves. I've called him out as a clown when he's been a clown, but today I have to call him out. He was our saviour today with multiple saves. We give away a foul. Yang got a yellow card. I was worried about him straight away then, because he's not the sharpest when it comes to intelligence. He's already been sent off at Tynecastle. He then goes on to commit another 3-4 fouls after that, and I'm thinking, you know, at what point is somebody going to pull him out here, because he's a red waiting to happen. You've then got the incident with Trusty, who just undid all the positive, the goodwill that he got from me, certainly on Thursday night, with that moment where the ball is bouncing. He's wanting it to bounce higher so that he can head it back. He's then trying to play it back, and he ends up playing Kazaridis straight in on Schmeichel, who makes another brilliant save with his feet. I said it on Thursday night, I'll say it again, in that kind of backs to the wall situation where there's balls going into your box. Trusty seems to be good. Ask him to do anything beyond that. I think he's an absolute bomb scare. Hearts were in the ascendancy. We created nothing at all, and I think we were very fortunate to get in at halftime 1-0 up. And as much as I was happy to be in front, I thought it was a very, very poor Celtic performance in that first half.
Yeah, half time, Craig Levine said it in the Sky Sports studio. Says it's not exactly been a glittering game. Both teams have been sort of not really in control, and the goal actually seemed a bit out of character with the way the game was playing. But at half time, to go in 1-0, you think back to the Falkirk game a couple of weeks ago where we were living dangerously at times, but we were grinding it out, and you felt like Hearts, the trusty moment. Let's talk about the trusty moment first of all. The first thing that I thought after that incident was a couple of weeks ago. I think it was the Falkirk post-match show that you and I did, and you said he's going to cost us a goal at some point or something big at some point this season. And again, another instant where seemingly what you just said is exactly right. If it's backs to the wall and he doesn't have to think, he's good at clearing his lines. But that moment there, he was given too long to dwell. Long ball, it's bouncing in front of him. He's obviously just got to pass it back to Casper. Because it's bouncing, he's in two minds about what to do. Should he wait for it to settle on the ground, then pass it back? He goes for, obviously, try to pass it back while jumping in mid-air and completely fluffs it. And luckily, what a save from Casper. What a save, getting a foot to that one. But as soon as that happened, the first thing that flashed into my mind was your exact words about Austin Trusty is going to cost us big time at some point this season between now and the end. And yeah, later in the game, obviously, we'll talk about what happened there. But yeah, that was a get out of jail moment. But you go in at half time, you're like, right, other than that moment there, Hearts haven't been excellent in terms of like cutting us apart. A lot of it's just down to us giving the ball away. Hearts can have the ball 30 yards from goal and put crosses in. Casper's coming and collecting them, or the defence are heading them away. But at half time, you're 1-0 up and you're like, okay, we've not played great, but we're dealing with it anyway. Chance to regroup. But I did say to my dad at half time, I says, the first 10-15 minutes are going to be crucial in this second half because they will come out out of the traps flying. If we can just weather the storm, get to about 60 minutes and we've still got the lead, or if we've added to it, then I'm pretty confident we'll be able to see this out. But sadly, that plan went right out of the window just minutes into the second half. But yeah, at half time, say we had to live dangerously a wee bit, but yeah, we were ahead and unfortunately just couldn't hold on to it, Terry.
Phil, I have to remain consistent here. And under Wilfred Nancy, there were so many times in that very, very short spell where he was the manager of Celtic, where I was asking, what the hell has he said to them at halftime? Because we've come out and we've lost a goal at the start of the second half. And I've got to ask, how do you come out at the start of the second half and within a minute and a half, the game's level, and they've scored from the one way you knew was going to be the way they were going to score? How have we allowed that to happen? Surely you're getting the team talk of all team talks, because Martin O'Neill's not stupid. He'll have known that we're 1-0 up, but he'll have known Hearts, whilst they didn't have a lot of clear-cut stuff, apart from when we made mistakes, they were still up for it. Their heads didn't go down at 1-0. They were up for it. They were taking quick throws. They were still doing all the right things. And we just come out. So it's almost like we've just come out and we're asleep. How do we concede? How do we concede a goal like that when when that's what they've done all season.
It was a double whammy. Just before they took the corner, a graphic came up on screen and said the teams that have conceded the most goals between the 45th and 60th minute. And we were second, I think, to Kilmarnock. I want to say we're top. So it was always like an omen was staring us right in the face. And yeah, they've already scored from a corner against us this season. We've conceded a lot of goals from corners. And well, this is, I mean, obviously you don't want to lose a goal in any way, shape or form, but this one in particular is really bad. Two Celtic players at the back post, out jumps them. And then Casper gets beat down at the near post as well. I suppose Casper's the least guilty out of it because the two players at the back, Engels and Tierney, I think it is.
Yeah, Engels and Tierney.
They should be doing better there, man. They really should. But as I say, it was a double whammy. Literally, right before that corner, a graphic gave us a warning that we concede second most goals conceded between the 45th and 60th minute, and Hearts are the top at the moment in terms of converting from set pieces. And yeah, it just came to haunt us right then and there.
Yeah, and what is our defensive setup, filling set pieces? To me, it looked zonal. Just before the ball came in, there were 4 Hearts players, all in a little cluster round about the edge of the box, and we had our players dotted along the 6-yard line, and it was almost like with 2 players kind of watching those 4. I've never been one for the zonal, I have to be honest. I think in that situation, especially against a team that are so reliant on set pieces, it's man on man, and you take responsibility for your man. Having said that, it transpired we had 2 men on the one man, and if you look at the 2 of them, Tierney and Engels, their jump, it's just half-hearted. It's absolutely half-hearted, and awful, an absolutely awful goal to concede. Hearts' 13th goal from a corner. Yeah. And see, from then, it kind of felt for the next period that it was just going to be Hearts were going to go on. We were going to concede again. You've another one where Scales makes a goal saving challenge again.
Brilliant challenge, yeah.
Zaridis again. I mean, on another day they fall to Braga, or if Shanklin's playing, they fall to Shanklin. Both those chances end up in your net. So again, probably thankful for small mercies. But it felt to me at that stage it was only going one way. Then we almost scored a bit of a freak goal with Svanchara's header, because it was a looping header. There was very little power on it. Craig Gordon seemed to not make too much of an effort to save it, and it comes back off the post. And there's also a chance then that Svanchara puts in the net, but Dyson made us stand in front of him and blocks it. I don't think it would have gone in anyway. But
actually, you see the view behind the goal, Ted. Yeah. First, in real time, I thought he would have done well. He's lying on the ground, but you actually see it from behind the goal. He actually, despite being on the ground, is swing towards the ball. It was like he's going to make good contact with that. But yeah, Dyson Maeda did some good defending for Hearts there. He got himself right in front of that one. But yeah, he's unlucky, obviously, with the header, the looping header. Caught Craig Gordon out big time.
Yeah, I thought Maeda was dreadful today. I thought his passing was shocking. Martin O'Neill called him out in one of the previous games for finding him with a pass. His passing was terrible, absolutely terrible. I don't know. He throws in an odd performance where you still think there's point in having him around, but see that performance today, I just thought, do you know what? We're needing players in the door, but is there any real point in having him around the place?
Through the middle in particular, he struggles because he's not a target man. He can't hold the ball up. He has to keep dropping deep to win the ball, and his touch is so clumsy. He drops deep and then loses the ball in dangerous areas. There was a few times that happened today. He's coming into our own half when he's playing up front to get the ball, and yeah, it's just bouncing off him, and Hearts are just taking it and breaking up the park.
But again, that plays into the intelligence of these players, because we know that he can't play with his back to goal. We know he's got the first touch of an elephant. We know that he can't link up play and bring other players in. But when he plays centre forward, we play those passes to him. When he's playing centre forward, any kind of ball forward down the channels for him to run onto, or even the long pump that we were trying for much of the first half, it's a much more effective tactic with him. And it's going to give you the best chance of getting anything out of him. However, very much then against the run of play, we go 2-1 up. We go 2-1 up, and we get a glimpse of what the new guy may have within his locker. This was probably one of my favourite goals of the season, Phil, because he's a big lad, and I thought he was quite good at being that target man and trying to link the play up in the first half. But he was at pains to tell us that he's got quite a bit of pace, and he showed that in abundance. He showed pace, power, and then really, really good composure to pick out Yang. If I'm being honest, I'd have had Yang already off by that stage because I think he was on foul 6. But Yang, and to be fair to him, he's chipped in with a few more goals. He's finding himself in those positions a lot more than he'd done previously. But I thought that was a really good goal. And I was thinking, surely now we've got this back again. We can kick on from here.
Yeah, again, very much against the run of play, but you thought, okay, we've made a mess of throwing the lead away. But yeah, we can get our heads together now. We've got ourselves ahead. With Martin O'Neill, who's experienced and whatnot, and obviously the way Sean and Fozzie have been doing the tactics, we've just consolidated here. We've been riding our luck at times, but yeah, surely the common sense would say, we can see this out. But it was a great goal. It was. I agree with the goal. Vanchara up to that point, as I said earlier on, he up to that point, mostly things were just bouncing off him. He wasn't getting much service. It looked like he was about to get subbed to a really quiet game, but no, his pace there, the strides he took, because he's a big guy, he can cover ground really quickly. And when you see it in real time as he breaks towards the byline, you can see with the camera angle Yang making that run across the 6-yard box, and said that I was watching it with my dad. Well, I was going to just put it across, and that was a perfect weighted pass. And yeah, Yang there to just finish it. And at that point, you're like, okay, we've lived dangerously here. We've been a bit up against it, but now, trying to make some tactical subs, try and get our head together, maybe change the shape a wee bit. But it just kind of defaulted right back to what we've been seeing for most of the game after that. That one moment there, getting ourselves back in the lead, was pretty much all she wrote for us for the rest of the game, because it was, again, backs to the wall. Just after the first goal, we invite pressure onto us. We keep giving away silly free kicks against a team that are very, very good at delivering the ball into the box. And we were our own worst enemies at times after that.
A lot of chat, a lot of love in the chat. Sorry for Araujo today. Quite a few of the guys saying that they were impressed with him. He did play very well. And again, he was one that I was kind of worried about in that environment, just from a potential red card perspective. But he put in a really, really solid display. Phil, just given the burst of pace that Vanchara showed, and I know you said that he was due to get subbed, do you think there'd have been any value in giving him another 5 or 10 minutes, just given the buzz that he would have had of playing his part in that goal? And then I suppose maybe in hindsight, looking at how the things played out after he went off, because we still tried to play the same way with someone who couldn't play that way.
Yeah, well, he's already played 60-something minutes at that point. What's another 5 minutes? Take him up to the 70 minutes or whatever. Why not? Especially, say, after getting ourselves back in the lead, living dangerously for most of the game, it was a time to just just try and keep the head a wee bit. But yeah, we subbed him not long after, and yeah, changed the shape and whatnot. In fact, he copped a booking right after the goal with the kickoff. That was at the end of the day, Vanchara's right to go and press that ball. The Hearts player gets in his way, and it was another soft booking, that one. I don't think that influenced us. I think he was going to be getting subbed within a matter of minutes anyway. But yeah, another 5 minutes I don't think would have done any harm at all. Just again, because it's always said in football that you're most vulnerable after you've just scored a goal. So again, after we've taken the lead after a pretty dismal performance up to that point, it's like, yeah, just keep a shape, try and just stay, just do what we're doing, knock it around, hold on to the ball for a wee bit, try and frustrate Hearts, and the big man can also hold it up front if we can get the ball up to him, try and maybe win some free kicks up in their half. But no, we changing the shape and going with Maeda through the middle again. And this again swings back to the way the squad is. We keep going on about it. You've also got the graphic up in the top corner of it, the 25th day now, and we haven't seen the real significant additions that we need. And yeah, well, we're in a position where Maeda was the option, but Could we maybe just stuck Reegan as the auxiliary forward instead? Something like that. I know he's not very good at holding it up, but you know, Maeda, the way Josh Reegan's always got that eye for goal, as much as he's a very polarising player at the best of times. Yeah, the way the game was going on, I was like, maybe it's better keeping Maeda out wide where he's always a bit more effective, and maybe putting Reegan as the guy in the middle. You know, but on the bench, we didn't have any out-and-out forwards, not even a Johnny Kenny or a Shin Yamada was there to bring on, so we had to... It was always going to be Maeda when that sub came with Tynecastle coming on. It was always going to be Maeda through the middle at that stage. And yeah, it's many people said in the chat, he's just, I don't know if he's checked out or whatnot. Because look at last season, how good he was. And funny enough, this is something you've brought up before on post-match shows we've done. Last season's probably the outlier in the end. We always thought the way last season panned out, this is a real Dyson Maeda. We're now seeing the absolute best of him. But it's now beginning to look like that was actually the anomaly, and we're back to more the Maeda that we saw before that, with clumsy touches and he can float in and out of games. And yeah, this through the middle at the moment, it's not, it doesn't work for our style of play at all.
Phil, here's another take on it, and I don't think it'll ever catch on. But see if we'd had Svanchara in on the 1st of January, and he'd had 3 weeks of training and match practice and getting up to speed, maybe we'd have got 80, 90 minutes out of the guy, but no, that's never going to catch on.
80 or 90 minutes and 3 points, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, we're fully fit, proper centre forward.
But see, to be fair to them, they got him in before the Hearts game. Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for that. The next few minutes kind of, I don't know how lasting the damage is going to be on our season, but it definitely damaged us in this game. We've been playing Kieran Tierney in the last few games. He's had to play pretty much full games because our backup to him has been injured with a hamstring.
Yep.
Now Kieran Tierney's injured, which is always likely. Let's be honest, it's always on the cards. Who knows what that looks like? We'll find out in the coming days as to whether that's going to be something that he's fine, he can play again, or is he out for any period of time? Knowing Kieran Tierney, knowing our luck, knowing this season, his season will probably be done, and we're then playing Liam Scales at left back, and you've got Dane Murray will be back in the team, and Stephen Welsh will probably need it to stay for the rest of the season. Dane Murray comes on. I've still got PTSD from his performance at Tynecastle the last time. I'm pretty certain he will have it as well. I think at that time that was his 9th appearance for Celtic in 4 years or something. If he's even on 11 now, I'll be surprised. He's hardly played since that game at all, and then he's coming on today. We're having to rely on him. And then within minutes of Dane Murray coming on, Austin Trusty's gone.
Yep.
Austin Trusty's gone.
Yep.
Let's focus on that one. Now, the chat is very, very much split. We've got people who are adamant, like Leanne Campbell, that it's a red. If it happens at the other end, you're screaming for it. We've then got Alfred coming in. Ball was moving away from goal. Scales was covering. We've got Martin O'Neill's comment, which I thought was pretty apt. No more a red card than a blue card is what Martin had to say. I'm pretty certain he'll get pulled up just for the use of the word blue. And whether he purposely used that or he just picked a colour and happened to pick blue, I think Martin could find himself in front of the Beaks over that one. Of course, it's a red. Stop blaming everyone else. We were played off the park. Whether we were played off the park or not doesn't mean it has to be a red. I'll give you my view on it shortly. Jim C, massive fan of the channel, thinks that we must appeal the red. I probably would leave it, because if you appeal it, that means Trusty's available. As much as I've said, I don't want Dane Murray. I don't want Stephen Welsh. I don't want Trusty. A new centre-back, and preferably one that is quite competent at playing centre-back. That would be good, Celtic, if you could maybe sort that. Green Smoke thought it was a yellow and a free kick. Kieran Allen makes a point that Boyd and a lot of the media have been, well, Boyd started this thing about Celtic going 85 games or something domestically without a red card. He'll be a happy man today that's happened. Who else has got a say on the? Yeah, not seeing any others that I started earlier, but I think the chat is split down the middle.
Yeah.
When I see it live, I'm worried, but my gut feel is it's yellow card. And when I see the yellow card coming out, I think, yeah, it's the right decision. However, I think Stephen McLean could have been pressured into giving it red, but I think he's got it right. That's my gut instinct. When I see it slowed down and I see the angle, he's heading towards the corner flag. Let's face it, right? Heading towards the corner flag. Now, the guys in the chat are saying Scales was covering. Somebody else is saying Murray was covering. I think both of them could potentially have got back. Now, you can't say the forward doesn't have a turn of pace, so he wouldn't have got there. But it is not a clear goal scoring opportunity because the ball is going towards the corner. He's going away from goal. He's not going direct at goal. There are two players potentially who could get back. Mm-hmm. Aside from that, then, it's not a clear and obvious error by the referee because of that. So I'm pretty surprised when John Beaton calls him over. Not surprised that John Beaton called him over, but I'm surprised that he's been asked to go and re-referee the decision that he's already clearly seen. He has give his opinion of it. I did think he might hold his nerve. However, when you see him standing there and the fans are hanging over and Derek McInnes is chirping, you fear the worst, don't you? I thought he might have the balls to go with his decision, but he hasn't. I don't think it's a red card. I think I would have caught him. I could, from my point where I'm sitting right now, I could have caught him. If from what I've seen from that guy, he was. Yeah. He'd have been lucky if the ball had stayed in play. I'm being totally biased here. What was your take on it?
Not too dissimilar from yours, to be honest. I can see why it was given. Now, there is the argument for he is taking a touch and heading at an angle towards sort of corner, the edge of the box. But I was under the impression it was directly a goal. And he's definitely not running directly at goal. Then I know somebody mentioned in the chat as well, he's not the last man, but I know that the rules changed in recent years when it's no longer deemed the last man being the term. It's a goal scoring opportunity. Is it a definitive goal scoring opportunity? I don't think it is. But to say, for me, I would say if and again, there is an argument. Leanne Campbell said earlier on, if it was at the other end, as Celtic fans, obviously we would be shouting for it, but I think a booking would have been the right call. And even if it happened at the other end and it would have been given as a booking, it would be like, well, okay, Maeda, for example, say it's him in that position. If he's taking that type of touch and he's going to be running away for goal, you can't definitively say it was going to be a goal scoring opportunity. So to me, I think you would have to go give the benefit of the doubt to the defender in those types of scenarios. Unless he's like clear cut through on goal. And that's what Martin O'Neill said. Martin O'Neill was quite adamant in his post-match interview about he said that as far as he knows, they ought to be through on goal. And it wasn't really. But you also need to look at the general state of the play that we were caught out so high up there, and Austin Trusty was in that position to foul him as carelessly as he did. He allowed the boy to get goal side of him. Or get to the side the ball's coming, and he's just sort of recklessly sort of pulled him down or put his arm out over him. And again, it's like we've been caught out. Did it come from was it a free kick that Hearts had? They took a quick free kick, and that's what left us high and dry there. That we were left in that position, if I remember right.
I can't remember the origin of it, Phil. And again, as much as I think it's a complete stitch up here, you do have to ask the question of Trusty. He is caught wrong side, and again, I've said the word so many times. He has showed a complete lack of intelligence. He fancies himself as a bit of a speed merchant. He's got to back himself again with the player going away at an angle. He's got to back himself to get back there, and sort that situation out. It's a bit like the Hatate one during the week. I think it's so soft, but he's given them an opportunity. The guy's gone down. The guy has gone down as if shot, and at the end of the day, it's a minor tangling of legs. But again, we've just been so non-streetwise or on-streetwise. Yeah, it's very, very hard to take how absolutely brain dead our players are.
Do you know the strange thing was when we did go down to 10 men after what we saw through the week, we being down to 10 men for an hour, I wasn't that phased about it. Where I was like, well, 15 minutes, if we just keep our shape and just clear the ball at every opportunity, then I was like, I think we can see this out. But we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot by stupidly giving away lots of soft free kicks and giving them the chance to knock the ball in the box for a set piece where they are the most dangerous. But I felt if we'd just cleared our lines most of the time, I think it was the free kick that they got that led to the equaliser, the second one, where Dane Murray does well to win the ball. And then I don't know what other Celtic player it was standing next to him, but the two of them kind of stopped and looked at each other, waiting for one of them to clear it. And they didn't. They sort of hesitated. Then the Hearts player nipped back in and they dragged them down. And that's what the free kick out wide that led to the second goal was. And it's like we silly things like that. I think if we just got Ralston on at left back as we did, and just maybe put another central midfielder on and just like tried to just put like 4 central midfielders in front of the back line, just keep one player up top. And yeah, I was like, 15 minutes to go. If we just do the sensible thing and just keep clearing our lines. But no, we just kept giving the referee a decision to make with some of the silly little tedious fouls we kept giving away. So we were our own worst enemy at that point. We weren't streetwise, probably the best term you used there. That's exactly it. Instead of there was a few moments where we were trying to buy free kicks at times. We were going down and trying to kill the clock a wee bit. But yeah, then we just kept on just doing silly things, tripping them up and barging into them and just inviting pressure again onto ourselves.
So Phil, what was our back four that we ended up with then? Araho, Dane Murray, Liam Scales, and Anthony Ralston. Yeah. If Kilmarnock had a back four like that, it would be embarrassing for Kilmarnock, wouldn't it?
It would actually.
That is where we're at. We're trying to win a league title here, and we're finishing a game against the league leaders with that back four. That just tells you absolutely everything you need to know. I think, even I suppose then you're expecting Hearts to go on and win it. There's one more save, I think, where Schmeichel pulls us out again with a
just sort of nonchalantly bats it away. It breaks off. Dane Murray goes to head it and it bounces off his face right into the 6-yard box. And yeah, he just kind of swats it away, a bit like one he did on Thursday night, where he just sort of sticks a hand out and just paddles it away, just right in front of goal. How could he be so cool there?
My goodness, Dane Murray. What was he doing in injury time where the ball's over near the touchline, and he just produces a Gary Owen, which is going towards our goals. Honest to goodness, if he's the answer, I don't know what the question is, and that's got to be one of the things that Brendan Rodgers has got to be. He's going to take to his grave when what he's seen in Dane Murray, because the amount of times he called him out as being someone that he really, really liked. I am sorry, Dane Murray, you cannot play for Celtic again. And the thing is, we're going to need him now because of the trusty red card.
Why was Stevie Welsh not there to be the option to come on? Because there's a whole palaver around bringing him back, and yeah, he can play for us or Motherwell for the rest of the season. So when I did see it was Dane Murray that was on the bench, and it's like, well, is Welsh injured already? What's the deal with that one? Because in that scenario, if you put a gun to my head and say Dane Murray or Stevie Welsh, even I'm not a fan of either, I'd lean towards Stevie Welsh right now because he's played more football this season as well. So there's also that. Dane Murray, I mean, you said earlier on, how many games has Dane Murray played in the last how many years since he's been at Celtic?
I think he's just into double figures now.
Aye, at least Stevie Welsh has actually been playing. I would rather if I was given the choice there, but no, it was Dane Murray that was because Welsh definitely wasn't on the bench, was he?
No,
was
he
just
wasn't.
Murray. So again, so it begs the question again about the Stevie Welsh move. What is the play here? Why have Celtic brought him back? What is the end game with this one?
He's probably picked up an injury, Phil, to be honest.
He was quite injury prone, to be fair. He was.
Yeah. Okay. So after that, yeah, we're hanging on. And do you know what? At the end, you could probably say we're lucky enough to get a point. And I think over the whole piece, Phil, I've calmed down a bit. I think Hearts were the better team. I think Hearts probably deserved to win the game. There's no probably about it. They deserved to win the game. But I still am disappointed about the way we led twice and didn't get the job done. I'm disappointed with the red card because I think we could have hung on. Here's one as well. 8 minutes added. Yeah, my goodness, you could hear the commentator. I don't know whether it was shock or delight or a mixture of both with the commentator, but 8 minutes seemed a bit much. If we look at the Dundee United game, Celtic at home, Dundee United 4 up. Dundee United have jacked it in, and there's 2 minutes added on.
2 minutes stoppage time,
all the substitutions and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, where do we go from here, Phil? Where does this leave us? Obviously leaves us status quo in terms of us against Hearts. We're 6 behind, vastly inferior goal difference. We're now 2 behind Rangers, which, given the start to the season they've had, is unbelievable. But I need to give credit to Hearts as well, because they were very under strength today, and they still turned in a performance that was pretty consistent with what they've done all season. And they were behind twice in the game, and the heads didn't go down. So fair play to Hearts, and see if Hearts do go on and win this title, they'll be the team that deserves to win it. Over the pace so far, if the league ends now, they're deserved champions. It's not a fluke. It's not luck. It's not all because Celtic were terrible and Rangers were terrible. Hearts have outperformed their mean of previous years, and I thought they were good today. It surprised me because I thought the adversity of losing key players, really key players, and then going behind twice, they could have been forgiven for thinking everything was against them and letting the points head out of Tynecastle, but they didn't do it, and you've got to give them credit. The next week then, Phil, becomes massive. We're 25 days into this window. The window closes for Scotland on, I think it's Monday.
Yep, next Monday.
Next week. I wanted to look just very quickly at, I've lost it now. It was a quote from the Celtic board
That's going to be good
this season, where I don't think I've got it. I think I've closed it down. I've got it on my phone here. Give me 2 seconds. Where are you? We acknowledge that the club is not where we want it to be at the moment, that we have not achieved all of our objectives in the summer transfer window. There's then a little bit about the Champions League. Mistakes have been made from which we will learn. Now, we're in the 25th of January. We've brought in 2 loan players. 2 loan players who, up until they came in to us, had not been getting any kind of game time for their clubs. The players that we've been linked with up until now they're either one of the following. They fall into one of the following categories. They're damaged goods. They are close to their sell-by date. They're close to the end of their contract. And they're absolutely shite players. So what have the board learned? How are they going to make sure that this window doesn't fall into the same category as the last one in which they made mistakes, and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that, and I could sit here and say that through until the end of the window. What happens now in terms of Celtic transfers? Where's this going to go?
Your guess is as good as mine.
My guess is nowhere. My guess is it's going nowhere.
Yeah, it's they've left it very late in the day, as happens every window, and the lack of communication that we get from the people at the top is one of the biggest problems. It's always left to the manager, where it was Brendan Rodgers at the start of the season with the summer transfer window. Now it's Martin O'Neill, who's peddling a lot of the same lines, just about, I hope we get the players in.
Here's what this window's excuse is. There's an excuse in every window, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the ready-made excuse for this window. We can't commit funds to permanent deals or loans with obligations to buy because the new manager might not want these players. Now, that's not a quote, but that is essentially what the activity or lack of activity is saying, is we're looking for loan players only. The reason we're looking for loan players is because we can't commit to long contracts for any kind of player in case the new manager doesn't want those players. And I'll come back and let you have your say. My response to that is, say if you go and sign good footballers, the new manager, whoever he is, he ain't going to turn his nose up with good football players.
Yeah, exactly. Good player. The manager's going to see the value in them if they are a good enough quality. But yeah, they'll have that excuse lined up, no doubt about it. And again, how they can watch all this unfold in front of them and not act quickly, it beggars belief. But again, as fans, we apply too much logic at times. I've given up trying to figure out how the people on the board actually operate. I know there was an instant through the week where Michael Nicholson was out in the streets of Bologna. Did you see him getting the fan that caught up with him with the phone? Did you see that, Terry?
I did, Phil. Everyone can choose to act in any kind of way they want. I wouldn't have taken that video if I met Michael Nicholson out in the street. I do see the other side of things where people are questioning why was Michael Nicholson even in Bologna and all that jazz. I mean, my thoughts on that are, he's the CEO, or he's supposed to be the CEO of Celtic. We're playing an away game against a team from Serie A. I don't have any issue with him being there. And I also don't have any issue with him having a couple of beers. To be honest, I don't know. I just seen it and I just thought it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for everybody. I mean, I felt it was embarrassing for the guy that done it as well. Whether you think Michael Nicholson's any good at his job or not, he's entitled to be there. He's entitled to have a drink. Should he have read the room a bit better? Yeah, probably. But he's only a human being at the end of the day. I'm not defending him. I just thought it was just a nothing incident, really.
But to say he's a man that we're all looking at right now in terms of he's got to get us over the line, because talk about the board and the love of their bonuses and their money. Well, if they want to maximise their profits and their money, then the Champions League is a place to do it. And if we finish third this season, which right now is a 3-horse race, somebody's going to have to finish there. So we need to get our act in gear. Yes, it is still status quo. It is still a 6-point gap to Hearts, but you've got the added dynamic now of Rangers being sandwiched in there. So there's that. They're the ones that have profited the most today, no doubt about it. With us drawing with Hearts and them winning, they're the ones that have the pendulum swung their way today in terms of like the momentum. So if it was a straight 2-horse race between us and Hearts, and Rangers were still a good bit back after the season, the way their season started. Again, I'd be like, okay, 6 points, it's frustrating, but it's far from over. I would still be quite confident, but right now it's just like, I'd say a bit scunnered really by the result today. Obviously, we all wanted to get the win, it goes without saying. But yeah, if we go on 9 points behind though, then Jesus, I really would struggle to see where we recover from there. But all we can do now over the next week is, again, we have to just hope, and sadly I hate using that word because Martin O'Neill's been using it a lot recently, but just need to hope that we see between now and the window closing, we get the players in to fill out the spaces in the squad, because more injuries, suspensions and what we're going to have to fill these holes. And we've got a run of fixtures now up until Ibrox at the end of February. I think we play them either the very start of March or the end of February. But we've got 2 home games domestically. The European game, obviously, it is what it is. I want us to progress in Europe. I know there's a whole argument about it's extra games. We'll still have to play Thursday, Sunday. Will we even go through after this? And once we get through to the next round, are we just making up the numbers with the state the squad's in? See, I want Celtic to play at the highest level they can every time. And right now we're in the Europa League. I would like us to get through and try and get this monkey off the back of we've no won a knockout tie for 20-something years now. So it'd be good to maybe try and achieve that and then see how far we can go. But that'll just take care of itself on Thursday night. But Falkirk next Sunday, then Aberdeen a week on Wednesday. I think we've got 2 back-to-back home games. So by the time we kick off against Falkirk, we need to see some more new faces in the team. But with the way this board operate, Monday night comes next Monday night. If you know that we're going to be sitting here watching Sky Sports News, waiting for some kind of update from Celtic Park about a last-minute loan or whatever, it's going to go that way. We can all see it coming.
Phil, my concern around the Thursday night, and I'm the same as you, I want us to go through. My concern around the Thursday night is the squad isn't built for 1 game a week, never mind 2, and the extra games will take its toll. We've seen that today. If we didn't play on Thursday night, and again it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. If we didn't play, do we see a better performance? Very, very possibly. It was good to see, Phil, that Tavernier Penn made a return today. I was getting concerned about him, but one thing about Tavernier Penn is he always turns up right at the time when his team are struggling and they really, really need him. So you've got to tip your cap to him as well. Phil, here's one thing as well I've been thinking about over the last couple of days. You said it's a 3-horse race. We're now the 3rd horse, and we're very much off the bridle. If you ask me, we're the whip's been drawn, and we're not moving very freely. But you could have a situation here, an unthinkable situation, where at some point in the next 15 games, Rangers fans are going to be wanting Celtic to win a game. Celtic fans are maybe going to be wanting Rangers to win a game. It's going to be a mad one.
Thing is, Teddy, put it as we see if this goes all the way down into the post-split fixtures and it's all 3 teams are still fighting out. See where our current squad with some of the players and like there, John Watts comment, Engels, the hide and seek champion, guys like him. Do you think they've got the fight and the stomach for a title fight that goes all the way to the wire, especially if it's 3 teams that go all the way to the wire this time?
Nah. I thought he was awful today. I genuinely thought he was awful. Really, really bad.
But there's also talk last week about RB Leipzig were supposed to be looking at him, and I saw a lot of back and forth on Twitter between 2 very distinct demographics of Celtic fans. The older generation were all like, get rid, he's shite, but the younger generation are like, he's one of our best players. Anyway, I see the argument that we're in a position where we can't afford to lose many more players right now. We are on the bare bones, but we need to see so much more. If Engels is staying, which it looks like it's going to be the case, it looks like that interest is going nowhere. It'll be parked till at least the summer. Then we need to be seeing a lot more from him. On days like today, I thought the other week against Falkirk, again, a team that was a bit physical, horrible conditions, a little park. He seemed like he didn't really look up for it. And these are the type of fixtures we're going to have to play from now to the end of the season. These type of teams we're going to be up against. It's like when we're in the trenches and we're in a battle, like we were today, he does hide. He really does. Yeah, he can have his classy passes here and there, puts in a good corner or whatever every so often, but we need more than just that. It needs to be more than just those from time to time. And in the midfield, you're expecting, guys like him to be, controlling the game. But our midfield in general today had no control at any point. I mean, all 3 of them are... Funny enough, the ironic bit is Callum McGregor. One of the things we criticise him for is just holding on to the ball and passing it sideways and always playing the safe pass. But it felt like today, he couldn't even do that. And then he's not helped by Nygren and Engels either side of him. They were giving the ball away. Yang with a few clumsy touches, and Maeda, we've touched on that already. Again, victims of our own problems, essentially. We cause it ourselves at times.
Okay, Phil, that brings us up to the hour mark. In terms of transfers, I'm just going to throw a few names at me. All right, sorry. And if you just give me a yes or no as to whether you see them coming in the door.
Okay.
I know the answer is no to them all, but do you think there's any prospect of any of them? So we'll start with Raksaki.
This Crystal Palace boy. It's a name that's came up already. We had it back in the summer. A loan deal. Well, it ticks the box right away of being a loan. So, yeah, I could see it happening. Will it happen? That's a different question. But could it happen? Theoretically, I don't see it being too unrealistic because it's a loan deal from a guy that's not getting a game in the Premier League.
So the latest on him is that Stoke City have surged ahead in the battle for this player because Celtic aren't prepared to include an obligation because of the reason that I said earlier, because the new manager might not want him. Masmanisi.
Yes, but we need to move quickly on that one. If the Welsh move is something to do with this, then we need to get our acting gear and make that happen. I see he scored again yesterday. I think it's feasible. I think it is doable. It's not an unrealistic transfer, but again, the biggest enemy here in the room is Celtic themselves and how they perform. So it is a very doable transfer, but it's up to Celtic to get it right and do business accordingly.
Fofana. David Fofana.
Got a bit quiet, that one. I don't know about that one. Because all the talk has been about his team, his people are trying to engineer a permanent move, but it doesn't. I think there's a few teams in for him, and he's already said no to us in the summer because we were rumoured to be in for him there. So I don't know. I mean, again, these are all feasible. Everyone you're saying, I don't think is outside the realms of possibility, but it's all down to how we act that's the hindrance here.
Two centre backs then, Phil. I feel we need to get one of these. Amanda.
Which team does he play for? Which one's he again?
Frankfurt. He
Frankfurt,
played yesterday. Started for them yesterday and scored no goal.
Scored their own goal. All right, okay. Right. Again, it's going to be a loan move, isn't it? The fact he's starting for them though,
they're all going to be loan moves. They're all going to be loan moves.
Because he's starting recently for them, then I'm kind of inclined to say it probably won't happen. But then again, if he's just scored an own goal, maybe they'll be like, "You out, get out of here." But yeah, we need to really get centre backs in now. We're honestly just falling apart at the back.
Yeah, and the last one on my list was this guy, Jimmy Lawrence, another centre back. I would like him. I like the look of him.
Yeah, this is another one. He plays in Germany as well. Yeah.
I think he plays in Austria.
Oh, Austria. It's Austrian Bundesliga. It's Austrian Bundesliga, not the German Bundesliga. Right, okay. Again, it doesn't seem like an unrealistic target. It's not like we're looking at a team, the top of the Premier League, looking at one of their starters. It always seems feasible, but again, it's all just going to be what the Celtic board do and how quickly they can get it done. Because again, logic dictates with us looking at this. There's no way that anybody in the Celtic board can surely be looking at how the playing staff is, how the team is, and think this is all fine. But they've surprised us enough times now with how they operate, and yeah, they just seem to move at a snail's pace when the need is very, very urgent, Terry.
Yeah, Seeger is now being mentioned again. He was rumoured at the start of the window, then that went quiet. Do you know what it'll be, Phil? It's just the same names going round and round and round. There's absolutely no plan. It'll be scattergun. And there'll be a sob story at the end about just how difficult it was. Usual pish. Anyway, Phil, I am feeling so flat. You have helped me. You've got me through the last hour. I still think I'll be in bed here for 8 o'clock. I might go and speak to the wife for half an hour or something, but that'll be the height of it. And then I'm going to bed. I'm just so flat. My goodness. And I never thought dry January would be such a challenge, but seeing you're watching this Celtic team and you like a drink, you just I don't know. I'll get through. I've only one more Celtic game to go, and that is dry January done. I'll never ever be doing it again. This is a total one-off. My God, I was close to breaking it there today, I have to say. But thanks for joining me, Phil. Thanks for joining me. During the week, you'll be going to the game Thursday night, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be there Thursday night. Aye. So we'll try and get Liam sorted for Thursday night. Hopefully he's not got a meeting or anything after it. But yeah, you'll definitely be here regardless anyway.
Yeah, I'll be on. If there's nobody else on, I'll make it a quick one, and we'll get that done and dusted, and then on to Falkirk again next Sunday. And
Monday, yeah.
I think Hearts play before us. They play on the Saturday night. Not sure when Rangers play.
But the Sunday as well, because they've got a European game on Sunday.
Because they're playing on Thursday night. Do you know what? Falkirk at home will not be a gimme either. I mean, they gave Hibs an absolute bashing yesterday.
Put Hearts at the Scottish Cup as well, and they gave us a tough game just the other week in their own patch. So they're a decent, well organised side. So we're going to have to work and scratch and claw for every single point from now to the end of the season. It's not out of our hands. Say we've kept the status quo right now. But yeah, we're at the point where we cannot afford any more defeats, really. We are just hanging in there. And I were also looking at snookers as well, with Hearts and Rangers dropping points, some of the other teams. But all of us we've got to play Rangers twice. Hearts have got to play Rangers twice. The Hearts got to play Hibs twice. We've got to play Hibs twice. So Motherwell as well. So have Rangers. So the top three right now have got a lot of hard games to go. And Motherwell are only just 5 points behind us as well. But they're going to be thinking. So they're going to fancy, try to get in about that as well. So I think there's a lot more twists and turns to go right now. I know you're feeling flat, Terry, but I don't think nobody should be throwing in the towel just yet. So you go by
there's no towel. There's no towel being thrown in. Right. But see if somebody said to me right now, Celtic will go out this week and they will sign 3 absolute upgrade first team players this week. Yeah. I would say it's game on. I would say it's absolutely.
I'd agree with that.
I just know there's absolutely no chance of that happening. And that's contributing to the flatness. I don't see us going and doing the kind of business that we need to do to get this job done. And the squad is absolutely on its knees.
Big time. But here we are, mate.
Right. Thank you to everyone who joined us. We were over 200 there for the vast majority of that show. Thank you very much. You're a very loyal crowd that join us week after week after week, regardless of results. And we'll see you again on Thursday night and then next Sunday as well. Phil, thanks for joining me. Take care. Have a good week.
Right. See you guys.
See you.